Hello everyone, welcome back another session of electronic device. In this session, we are going to discuss about the basics of MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. So the basic working concept behind the MOSFET is it's a MOS capacitor. It's nothing but two-terminal MOS structure. So what does it mean by two-terminal MOS structure is nothing but I am going to explain the MOS capacitor. Okay. So basically the MOS capacitor, if you understand MOS capacitor properly, it is very easy to understand the MOSFET working, construction, all the related things. Okay. So here the metal oxide semiconductor, as the name suggests, there will be a metal. Okay, there will be a metal, there will be oxide layer, okay, there will be oxide layer, there will be semiconductor layer. That is what the meaning, metal, oxide and semiconductor. As the name suggests, it's a metal, oxide and semiconductor combinations. The metal may be aluminum, okay, or high conductivity polycrystalline silicon that has been deposited on the oxide. Okay, high conductivity polycrystalline silicon. It may not be a pure metal, but still we call that area as a metal only. Okay, since it have a high conductivity, we always consider the material which has got a maximum conductivity is a metal. Okay, so it is deposited on the oxide. We have oxide layer. Okay, look at this diagram. You can see the metal layer over here. Okay, this is our metal layer. So here we can see that insulator oxide layer, okay, insulator oxide layer, and followed by our semiconductor layers, metal oxide semiconductor MOS. And you can see the TOX is the parameter in the figure is the thickness of oxide, and the epsilon OX is the permittivity of oxide. Okay. So this is the basic structure of two-terminal MOS structure. And how does it work? Basically, I want this structure for explaining the MOS capacitor. Okay. Okay. Let's proceed. Yeah. Look at this diagram. It's a simple diagram of a capacitor. We can explain the physics of MOS structure with the help of parallel plate capacitor. Okay, the symbol diagram, that hypothetical diagram I have shown here, and you can see the two plates, parallel plates over here, and we have applied a voltage V, and electric field is appearing in between two plates. Basically, this electric field is cause of the electron flow in the capacitor. In the capacitor, which leads to the working of MOSFET. Okay. Now you see the previous diagram again I have taken here. We have a metal here and oxide and semiconductor. Initially we are applying a negative voltage to this terminal, negative voltage to this terminal, the terminal which is being connected to the metal. Okay. So once we apply a negative voltage to this terminal, what will happen? An electric field going to create in the oxide layer. The electric field going to create in the oxide layer. This is because of the applied negative voltage to the metal side and positive voltage we connected to the semiconductor. Okay, so there will be a induced electric field in this. Okay, the direction of the electric field towards this metal layer. So this is the direction, because this is positive charge is connected here, negative charge connected here. Of any point, any way you consider the electric field traveling from positive to negative. So this is the direction of the electric field appearing in the oxide layer. Definitely we know that once this electric field is happening this direction, this is our p-type material, we know semiconductor p-type material, and what will happen, the holes near to this oxide semiconductor junction experiencing some force, okay, that force will take the hole towards the oxide and semiconductor junction. Since it is an insulator, this electron hole pair combination will not happen. This is a oxide layer is an insulator, right? So electron hole pair recombination is never going to happen, but the electric field is going to pierced into this p-type material, which actually pull our positive charge towards the junction of oxide and semiconductor material. So you can see a positive charge will accumulate in one side of this oxide layer, okay, and negative charge is actually applied, negative charge is accumulated in other side of the metal layer. So it's similar look like this diagram. So negative charge is accumulated one side of the plate and the positive charge is accumulated another side of the plate, and is separated between the distance d, that is nothing but the width of thickness of oxide layer, okay. So this will act as a capacitor, no doubt in that, okay. So what is the capacitance value? Capacitance epsilon divided by d is the distance, this is the permittivity of the oxide layer, okay. So it's given in that, and that is what basically I would like to explain about the Morse capacitance. And one more thing, the magnitude of the charge per unit area, actually in either side of the plate charges are accumulating, negative charges and positive charges are accumulating. So the magnitude of the charge per unit area on either side of the plate is given by this expression, Q is equal to CV. C is capacitance, V is applied voltage, right, the charge accumulating on the plate given by this expression, okay. The same thing, whatever I am explained, it's given in this. The top of the metal gate is at the negative voltage with respect to the semiconductor substrate. The electric field will be induced with the direction of metal plate. The majority carriers in the p-type material, we know that is holes, would experience a force towards the oxide semiconductor interface. The accumulation layer of holes at the oxide semiconductor junction corresponds to the positive charge on the bottom of the plate, bottom plate of Morse capacitor. So that is actually the Morse capacitor, because two opposite charges are accumulated either side of the parallel plate, and then plates are kept a distance, kept a small distance d, okay. That is what the basic explanation of Morse capacitor. And if I inverse the polarity, what will happen? Before it was negative and positive, negative here and positive here. Now I reverse the polarity, okay. Now I reverse the polarity, I will cross this. Positive charge is applied to the metal layer, definitely the other side connected to semiconductor. What will happen here? The electric field, the direction of the induced electric field in the oxide layer, it is actually in this direction. It is moving away from the metal plate, okay, moving away from the metal plate, and basically that is going to pierce into the semiconductor. What will happen? It is like all the holes will experience a force, okay, experienced a force towards or away from the oxide semiconductor junction, and the holes will move towards the direction, and in this region the holes will not be available. The holes will not be available. We can call that region as a induced space charge region. Induced space charge region. It is not a p-n junction in order to induce a space charge region, but it's a oxide and semiconductor junction, even though there will be a space charge region because of the applied voltage at the metal layer. We have applied a positive voltage, so definitely what will happen, electric field in this direction. So whatever the holes available in the at the junction of oxide and semiconductor will experience a force. Because of the force, it will move in this direction. So charge carriers will depleted from this region. We call it as induced space charge region. The same thing is given here. A positive charge now exists on the top metal plate, and the induced electric field in the opposite direction as shown in the figure. If the electric field penetrates the semiconductor, in this case the majority holes will experience a force away from the oxide semiconductor interface. So there will be a space charge region. Okay. So still as the holes pushed away from the interface, a negative space charge region will create because of the fixed ionized acceptor atom. The negative charge in the induced depletion region corresponds to the negative charges on the bottom plate of MOS capacitor. Yeah, what it says basically, when we apply a positive voltage, the holes are depleted from this junction, oxide and semiconductor junction, and what is existing over here? This is doped, right? This is doped. Okay, so the ions are negative ions are available here. It's not a negative electrons. It's a negative ions are available. Negative ions will give a negative energy at the bottom plate of MOS capacitor. That will act as a negative charge in the bottom plate of capacitor. So in this region, experiencing a negative charges, it is not because of electron, it is because of ions. Okay, it is because of ions. Still there will be a capacitance, MOS capacitance, but it is not as strong as the previous case. Previous we have a properly electrons and holes separated by a parallel plate, we get a MOS capacitor, but in this case positive charges are strong, but negative charges because of the ion, but still it offers some capacitance. Okay, we cannot neglect the capacitance. In both cases we would get a MOS capacitor. Okay, yeah, that's about the two terminal MOS structure, and basically the two terminal MOS structure is nothing but a MOS capacitor. Okay, yeah, thank you guys. Now we are going to discuss about the energy band of MOS capacitor or two terminal MOS device. So before we go to explain for MOS capacitor individually, let's see what is the energy level of metal, insulator and semiconductor. So this is a diagram for the individual energy level of metal and oxide and semiconductor. Okay, here you can see this energy band is huge. So the possibility of exciting one electron from the valence band to conduction band is literally zero. It's an insulator, and this is a Fermi level of metal. And with respect to all this energy level, we take with respect to the vacuum level, and phi m is a electron work function. Okay, work function, and psi is electron affinity, and we know this diagram. So we are going to bring this energy level together. Okay, we are going to bring all this energy level together. We'll see one by one. So first one, in ideal case, when the zero bias is applied across the MOS device, we are not applying any voltage. You should remember the concept which I have explained in the previous video. Okay, zero bias applied to the MOS device. Once we all the materials are brought together to form a junction, metal oxide semiconductor junction is created. Okay, so no voltage is applied. once we are not applying any voltage, you can see the band is flat band you can see, okay, throughout a straight line. This is a valence band, this is a Fermi level of p-type semiconductor, this is intrinsic Fermi level, this is a conduction band. So we learned already that Fermi level of p-type semiconductor would be near to the valence band. We already learned that. Okay. Yes. And this is actually ideal condition. We are not applying any voltage at the gate metal terminal. This is a gate, right? Metal terminal. And now when we applied a negative voltage to the gate, when there is a negative bias is applied to the gate, that means when we apply a negative voltage. In previous case, if you remember the explanation, we applied initially negative voltage. Okay, what will happen when we apply a negative voltage? Oxide layer oxide layer is experiencing a electric field. That electric field will cause attraction of holes from the semiconductor, right? So near to this oxide and semiconductor layer, near to this junction, what will happen? The holes are going to accumulate here because of the electric field, the direction of electric field towards this metal plate. Okay, so holes will experience a force towards this junction. The holes are going to accumulate here. That means the energy near to the junction is going to be increase. So you can see the valence band energy at this junction, what junction? Oxide and semiconductor junction, almost equal to the Fermi level compared to other portion of the semiconductor. It won't affect throughout the semiconductor. This change, the bending of the band occurs only near to the junction, not entire band is going to bend. Okay, so you can intrinsic Fermi level also changes, but the Fermi level of this material is not going to change, that will be remain same. Okay, so you can see that accumulation layer of holes, this already we explained in previous video. Okay, accumulation of holes will be happening near to this joint. That is the energy band diagram of MOS capacitor when we apply a negative voltage to the gate. And what will happen when we apply a positive voltage? Okay, the reverse of this will happen definitely. Okay, so there will be induced space charge region, as we explained before. What will happen? The bending will be downward. Energy, the holes which is accumulated here going to be pushed away from this junction, move away from the junction. So definitely the energy of holes going to be reduced at this junction, so it will bend down. You can see the intrinsic Fermi level is closer to the Fermi level of the p-type semiconductor. Okay, so this will happen when we apply a positive voltage to the gate. The conduction band and valence band edges, and as shown in the figure, and conduction band and intrinsic Fermi level move closer to the Fermi level. The induced space charge with this XD. So this induced space charge region. So this is accumulation process. Here a space charge region will create because of the positive applied voltage. And now what will happen? We are increasing the positive voltage again at the gate region. Consider the case when a larger positive voltage is applied to the top of metal gate of MOS capacitor. What will happen if I apply more? Okay, if I apply more, what will happen? The bending will be more number of holes is pushed away from this region, and what will happen near to this area, near to this junction? All the positive charges are pulling with a strong force, right? All the positive, whatever the positive energy available here, it is pulled, it is pushed away from this junction, and this region is become a negative charged region. That means the positive p-type semiconductor is become a negative n-type semiconductor in this region. So that is known as inversion layer of electrons. So this region is inverted, its characteristics is inverted from p type to kind of n type material. Okay, so this band will happen more. You can see the Fermi level is actually less than the valence band. Fermi level is less than the valence band. So inversion will occur. That's what told here. The intrinsic Fermi level at the surface is now below the Fermi level. Okay, the conduction band at the surface is now close to the Fermi level, whereas the valence band is close to the Fermi level for the bulk level in the bulk semiconductor. This result implies the surface of the semiconductor adjacent to the oxide semiconductor interface is n-type. Okay, by applying sufficiently large positive gate voltage, we have inverted the surface of semiconductor from p-type to an n-type semiconductor. P-type to n. So that layer is known as inversion layer. We have inverted the characteristics of the material. Okay, so this is the energy band diagram of this MOS capacitor when we apply a high positive, large positive voltage at the gate terminal, and similar way this is the energy band diagram of the MOS capacitor when we apply a negative voltage. This is the energy band diagram of MOS capacitor when you apply a zero biasing voltage at the gate, and this is the energy band diagram of MOS capacitor when you apply a positive voltage. Okay, moderately when we are applying a moderate value of the positive voltage. Okay, thank you guys.